Hey there guys, this is Sam
and Justin
at the Survival Review, and today we are going to be talking about the newest movie in the DC Cinematic Universe, Suicide Squad.
And it wouldn't be a DC movie if it wasn't very divisive amongst fans and critics, and in some ways a good movie, and in other ways not really.
Yeah.
Because that's pretty much the trend right now with DC movies.
Pretty much, and this one, like, they really love that trend.
Yeah.
It doesn't break it at all.
No, it doesn't. This movie is alright.
It's okay.
I enjoyed it, but I have issues.
I've got issues.
Yes, it's a problematic movie, to be sure.
It was, of the ones, of the past DC Cinematic Universe movies, Batman vs. Superman and Man of Steel, I'd say so far, I haven't seen Batman vs. Superman, but I didn't like it as much as Man of Steel.
Oh, no.
So...
No, Man of Steel is a better movie.
And from what I hear, I'm assuming I'm going to like Batman vs. Superman more.
Yeah, the Ultimate Cut, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Though this one is a lot more fun than either of those two movies. Yeah. That's the one thing this one has over those two films.
It is true.
This movie is actually fun. It's actually funny.
It does try to have some humor.
And for the most part, it actually is pretty good.
Yeah.
It has some jokes that just fall flat, but for the most part, it's actually pretty funny.
Yeah. And there are some characters that are actually, entertaining and keep you interested. Some that I had never even heard of. People like Captain Boomerang. I really enjoyed him, surprisingly.
Yeah, they did a good job of actually introducing us to these new characters and still making us be able to care for them.
Yeah,
and
for the most part.
Yeah, and like the first half of this movie is a lot of flashbacks.
Yeah.
And after a while, kind of was just like, oh, we're still on flashbacks, but for the most part, they did their job well to like tell us and inform us on these characters. Especially for having to introduce so many, because there's quite a few characters in this movie. Yeah, there is. It is similar to Guardians of the Galaxy. I know that's going to be the movie it's going to be compared to a lot. Yeah. Where it's like they were introduced us to a bunch of new people we don't know, and this one is kind of less successful at that. Guardians of the Galaxy was able to do that without just giving us the whole backstory. But this one, I thought, still did a good job. It didn't do a bad job. It definitely, that's not one of the complaints I would have with it. No. Though some complaints would be, this movie tried too hard. Definitely. Yes. There's moments where... with a lot of the characters, including Jared Leto. Yeah, Jared Leto was the Joker. We'll get to that in a second. Okay. What I mean though by it trying too hard is it throws a lot of old school songs or new pop songs and just kind of just throws them at us. Like the first 20 minutes has like 5 different song changes. Yeah. In the first 20 minutes. It's like, just imagine if Guardians of the Galaxy was made with like the same crew, the same cast, but tried too hard with this like old school music and was jumbled and messy. You'd be like, oh, there's a lot of potential in here, but it doesn't exactly live up to it, and that's what this movie is. Because I like everybody involved. Visually, it looked great, but it just tried too hard to be hip and edgy and cool at times. And one of those things that tried too hard, at least in our opinion, is Jared Leto's Joker. Yeah. Granted, we don't have a whole lot to go off of because he's barely in this movie. He's really not. Despite the trailers advertising him prominently. Yeah. And they definitely do want to play off, the Joker's in this movie and he's a new actor playing him. Yeah. And maybe if we get more time with him to see what he can really do, he'd be better. I can maybe see him being better. But he has just some weird mannerisms so they just don't work. It just come off as what are you doing? Yeah, they don't really fit the... It felt all over the place. Yeah. Heath Ledger's Joker, I don't want to compare it because Heath Ledger's Joker
obviously, I wouldn't want to compare this Joker to a lot of Jokers. But
the one thing I'll compare to is the fact that Heath Ledger had a set character. That's what it felt like. You understand his quirks, you understand how he acts. You got that down. Leto just kind of felt like he was just doing crazy stuff because he's the Joker. And
he's gotta be wacky. And
I like the idea of him being a gangster and a mob boss. That was cool. I do like how he has a lot of changes in costumes and stuff. I like that. That's different. But it's just his actual performance, just some things just didn't work, didn't click.
I agree. I definitely wouldn't say he's a bad Joker, especially not yet, because we have a lot more time to see him do some more with the character. And he is a great actor. He definitely has the potential to be a great Joker. Just in this, I don't think he really lived up to it.
Yeah, I can't really say I liked it a whole lot, but I can't really say, like, he was bad. He wasn't, like, Jesse Eisenberg as Lex Luthor bad.
It wasn't something that where you can just hands down say, like, oh, he was awful.
Yeah.
He had his moments. He had his not-so-good moments. It was just kind of a mixed bag.
Yeah, and then also some, like, issues with the movie is that the movie feels choppy. It feels like it's missing stuff. And there's a lot of stuff that happens in the movie that just happens, like, really fast. There's this one scene where it's them flying into the city, and they're on that big, like, plane like thing, and it gets hit, and they crash. Yep. And that scene went on for just, like, 20 seconds. And there wasn't even, like, reaction shots of them inside going, like, oh, we're hit. It literally, like, it gets shot, they crash, they get out, like, stretch, and walk away.
That's it. And like, there was no... Yeah, they crashed. They're on the ground now, but
there was no tension in the scene or anything. It was just nothing.
They're just all good.
It easily could have just been like the plane just landing and then getting out. It would have been exactly the same. And that was kind of the issue. In a lot of the action scenes, there's no action scene that really stood out. It's because, like, without getting into spoilers, there, most of the villains they fight then are just like faceless villains, without going into explaining why.
Yeah.
And like, so there wasn't any real like conflict and just like real like tension.
Yeah, there's no reason to fight them aside from they're bad guys and they're trying to end the world. They don't really have that strong motivation.
So those didn't really stick out to me. And then this movie is actually really CGI heavy.
Especially toward the end.
Yeah, especially mostly in the third act. A lot more than I expected.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting that at all. I mean, I thought there would be, as much as any, modern comic book movie, but like, I thought it was going to be a lot more
grounded.
Especially just because I feel like the newer DC movies, just in general, are a bit more grounded.
I thought this movie was going to be smaller.
Yeah.
Because this movie, they're basically saving the world.
Yeah.
At the end. Which I'm like, I thought it was going to be like them on a little mission. Like they're the Suicide Squad. They just go on little missions that like, that aren't like a big deal and aren't like going to like affect the world. But this one includes a blue beam going into the sky like every other comic book movie, and like it was a big world-threatening conflict. I'm like, I don't know, I didn't expect that.
Yeah, it wasn't really, it wasn't necessary. No. It was like the conflict didn't need to be something,
that big.
Yeah.
The villain was alright. Like, I'll give the movie this. Like, the trailers did a very good job of advertising this movie, because I had no clue who the villain was, or what the movie was actually really about, aside from they have to assemble a team of bad guys to go on a mission.
Yeah.
And so I like that, but the villain starts out interesting. Like, it's really an intriguing character. It's the character Enchantress.
Yeah.
And she's really intriguing, and it's really cool at the beginning, but I don't know, it's like, as it kind of goes on, she's kind of just like, is there. And
she's just kind of dull, and like doesn't really have any real reason for destroying the world other than these weak humans don't worship me.
Yes.
So.
And then there's characters that are very underused.
That's true.
Killer Croc is basically in the background for the entire movie until the climax, where he has something to do. Katana, who they kind of build up, and she has like a cool thing to her, like her sword captures the souls of the people she kills.
That's a really cool concept that like they mentioned twice.
Yeah, she's just there.
Yeah.
That being said, though, we spent the past few minutes just bashing the movie.
Yeah. There
are positives.
Some.
For me at least, there's a good amount, like decent amount.
He likes the movie a little more than I do.
Yeah, I did. Okay, so like I said, all the cast did their job well, and the characters who get stuff to do are great. Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn is perfect.
She fit the role really well.
When she is Harley Quinn, like that was perfect. She was great. She got like the mannerisms down. She got all that down. She was awesome. Will Smith, he's Will Smith, so this is expected, but he was good.
He was good. He was kind of just playing Will Smith.
He was, but I was entertained by it.
Yeah, I didn't mind his character.
Yeah, and like he has some of the really good funny moments in the movie too. So I really liked him. Those were the two most developed characters in the movie.
Oh, definitely.
And then you get to the lesser ones. Something I never thought I'd ever say in a movie. Jai Courtney was really entertaining in
Honestly,
this movie and good.
I seriously, this surprised me the most because I knew he was in it, and I expected nothing from his character. I thought he was going to be more in the background than anything, and he wasn't a hugely prominent character, but the moments that he had were really entertaining.
Yeah, he was funny.
He was funny.
It was well acted. Yeah. It just surprises me. Because granted, I've never actually hated the actor.
Yeah.
But he's not a good actor. Or at least hasn't been good in the movies I've seen him in.
Yeah.
But in this one, he was really good and really entertaining, and was a highlight whenever he was on screen.
Yeah, Captain Boomerang to be specific.
Yeah, that was his character. Just a lot of fun. And then there are some cameos in this movie. Most of the one everybody knows about is Batman.
Yeah.
Affleck is in the movie. Very short part, very small cameo. But that was really well handled, and to me, didn't feel forced.
I felt that the first cameo, the one with Batman, didn't feel too forced. There was another cameo. I personally feel the other cameo felt less... It felt a little
I honestly
wedged
didn't
in.
mind that one either. It was weird. I don't know. Like I enjoyed the cameos. I thought like it made sense in the context of the story. It wasn't like in Thor when like Hawkeye is there.
Yeah.
Because he's Hawkeye. It's like it didn't feel like I don't know. It didn't feel forced. It worked, and of course it's Affleck as Batman, so I liked seeing him.
Yeah, he was good. This is actually the first time, because I haven't seen Batman vs Superman. This is my first experience seeing him as Batman, and I think he's good.
He's awesome. He's great. And one of the things I just really appreciate, because I think I've mentioned this before in my videos, but I'm a big DC fan. Like, since I was a kid, I really like DC. I was always more of a DC person as a kid. Nothing against Marvel, just because, like, there was more media with DC, more, like, animated series and stuff like that. So DC is always, like, has a special place in my heart. And I just like that there's a movie in, like, a DC extended universe.
Yeah.
But I like how they're kind of embracing more of the comic bookness of DC. Whereas, yeah, Man of Steel and Batman vs. Superman were very grounded and serious and dark. This one has more fun with it. Like, in Batman's scene, he, like, ends up going underwater and he has a scuba mask on. Which is, like, right out of the animated series. Like, Batman in his, like, normal costume with a scuba mask on. Not a special suit. Just, like, the mask. And things like that just makes this universe, like, come to life.
I can agree to that. I'd say there was definitely some stuff that gave it some character and was fairly true to some of the prior material
and again,
these characters have been in.
And again, despite it being flawed, I was entertained. Like, I had fun with this movie. Despite having issues with it, I still actually enjoyed it, even though, again, the pacing was off at times, and, like, it felt like the movie really got started, like, halfway through. But, I don't know, I had fun with it, though, like, I agree that it is a heavily flawed movie.
Yeah.
It's not nearly as bad as the critics are saying.
Yeah, I think the critics are being a little harsh.
And it is not that bad.
It's not that bad.
No.
Like, there's way worse.
Oh,
but,
yeah. There's way worse comic book movies.
Yeah, way worse.
Yeah.
But it definitely could have been a lot better.
Yeah. So, out of 10?
Out of 10, I'm going to give the movie a 5.
I'm going to go 6 out of 10.
That's fair.
Solid 6. Because there were parts in it that were good. It's just flawed. Again, it kind of sucks because same thing with Batman vs. Superman and Man of Steel. This has great people involved, great like actors involved. Again, all the cast did good and great like look to it. It just needed a better script. They just felt a little rushed and choppy.
Yeah.
That's the one thing that really brought it down. But overall, though, it was alright.
It was okay.
Pretty much.
So that's about all we've got to say about it in this video. There are some spoiler things that we'd like to talk about that we're going to do in a separate video. So until then, we'll see you guys next time.